Hello, and welcome to this FMOD video. Today we will be talking about getting your music from FMOD into Unity and utilizing trigger zones to modify the sound. Before we get started, we need to create a Unity project. The goal of this tutorial is to get you comfortable with adding music. For information regarding project setup, please go to the link in the description. For the purpose of this tutorial, I would suggest going until at least section 6, looking around with mouse. All we need to be able to do is walk and look. At this point, I will encourage you to create your own project instead of using an existing one. One complication with using a pre-existing project is that we would have to go through the objects removing instances of non-FMOD audio listeners and audio emitters, in both the inspector and in the script code. Take your time setting up your project and test it to make sure what you have works. Once your Unity project is set up, remove the audio listener from your main camera. This must be done whether or not you created your own project. You should also check to make sure that your player object is tagged as player. If you haven't already, now would be a good time to set up your FMOD project. Fill it in with all of the automation you would like. I suggest keeping it simple for now while you get accustomed to Unity. Switch over to your FMOD window. Make sure that your events are assigned to the proper banks. In this case, we are only dealing with music, but if we included sound effects or ambiance, we should have a bank set up for each type of sound. Once your events are assigned to banks, click on File and click on Build. This will gather all of the metadata, events, etc. for our project into our bank files. Now we need to download the FMOD integration assets. In Unity, go to the Asset Store and search for FMOD for Unity. Once found, select it and import. Make sure to import all. Now that Unity has FMOD capabilities, we need to tell Unity where to find the FMOD project file. At the top, click on FMOD and Edit Settings. In the inspector, under Studio Project Path, click Browse and navigate to the FMOD project folder. Find the .fspro file and click Open. In the hierarchy, find your player object, and at the bottom of the inspector, click Add Component. Search for FMOD and click on FMOD Studio Listener. Now add the component FMOD Studio Emitter. Emitters will play the sound, and listeners will hear the sound. We need to tell Unity how this emitter functions. In the emitter component under Play Event, select Object Start. This will start the music when the object is loaded into the scene. Then we need to link it to our FMOD event. In Event, click on the Search button and navigate to the event you wish to play. If you would like to have specific initial values assigned to the FMOD parameters, under Initial Parameter Values, select the drop-down and add the parameters you wish to modify. You should now have working audio. Test it out. You may have noticed at this point that there is no interactivity to the audio. Let's fix that with something called trigger zones. A trigger zone is an invisible, meshless object. Depending on the settings of the object, when a player steps into the zone, the music or audio will change. To create a trigger zone, right-click in the hierarchy and create a 3D cube. In the inspector for the cube, remove the mesh filter and the mesh render components, and in the box collider, make sure Is Triggered is checked. If it is not checked, the cube will act as an invisible wall instead of something that can be walked through. Adjust the size of the zone, rename it, and move it as needed for your project. We now need to tell Unity what to do when we enter the zone. With the zone selected, add the FMOD Studio Parameter Trigger component. From the hierarchy, drag the player object into the target field. In Trigger, select Trigger Enter. In Collision Tag, select Player. This will tell the object to trigger the interactivity when the player object enters the zone. Expanding the Event tab will allow you to select which parameter you would like to change and set the value upon entrance. Place a check on the parameter and adjust the slider to represent the value you would like that parameter to change to upon entering the zone. If multiple zones affect the same parameter, you can copy and paste the zone and adjust the settings as needed. Try it out now. As you walk through the zones, your music should change. I hope you enjoyed this FMOD video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have suggestions for future videos, leave them in the comment section and I'll put them on the list.